Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and news is just breaking here this morning about the future of Star Wars, and not only Star Wars, but Avatar, and also finally a somewhat definitive, maybe perhaps, idea of when New Mutants is going to be coming out. But really, the Star Wars news is a big one because what we're seeing here from Variety is that they're announcing new Star Wars movies and Avatar sequels have been moved. So Cameron's films, first up, this is a big one here, are being delayed from December 2020 to December 17th, 2021. And then, of course, the following films after that will kind of hopscotch over or leapfrog really over the Star Wars sequels. And that's Disney's plan for the first part of the 2020s is going to all be Star Wars, Avatar, Star Wars, Avatar, Star Wars, Avatar, which makes a lot of sense considering the fact that they want to have time to breathe in between the sequels, in between whatever this new trilogy is going to be. And they also want to make sure to get as much as they can out of Avatar. And I think that's actually a pretty solid method. It sucks that we have to wait as long as we have to wait now to see the final Avatar movie, which is now slated for December 17th, 2027. Okay. 2027. It's 2019. Sure. Why not? Okay. So anyway, then talking about Star Wars here. So it says, with the release of Rise of the Skywalker brings the Skywalker saga to a close. The first of three films will hit December 16th, 2022. There will be two other follow-ups during the Christmas corridor on December 20th, 2024 and December 18th, 2026. Disney's poised to dominate around the holidays for the foreseeable future. The studio is also alternating between Avatar and Star Wars films through 2027. And yeah, another report that I saw did say something around the lines that there were like two other stars. They said five Star Wars films. Like there were two other unannounced movies that are going to be coming with no release date, but I can't find any other article outside of Bleeding Cool to confirm that. And Variety is usually a pretty solid source, even though in the article here, it does actually screw up by saying, following its box office behemoth Avengers Endgame, Disney has also adjusted a few Marvel releases. Fox's The New Mutants, an X-Men film starring Game of Thrones Sophie Turner, wrong film, was pushed from August 2nd, 2019 to April 3rd, 2020. When meanwhile, Gambit is dead. Gambit is dead. But obviously the article screws up here because Dark Phoenix stars Sophie Turner, New Mutants stars Maisie Williams. Different character entirely. But what does this tell us about the future of Star Wars? And they said they were taking a break. They ain't lying. They're taking a break. They're taking a 3-year break in order to reestablish the brand, right? They don't want to sit there and just crank out 2 movies a year, even though most fans, if the stories are good, most fans would be okay with 2 stories a year. But the problem with it is, though, is that they don't have pre-established lore to pull from and a vast variety of characters in modern culture to also pull from. And if you're one of the people out there that's a EU purist, you might be sitting there going like, but Matt, you're wrong. They have all these characters out there, these litany of characters out there. Well, it's true, they do, but the EU didn't even really start till the late 80s, early 90s. And even then, it's relegated and restricted to a very small portion. What they need to do is they need to take the time with Disney Plus to build up Star Wars from I guess you could almost say like a rebuild from the ground up with these characters, with these shows. They're going to be going to that service, keeping the whole thing alive, while they then are able to turn it into something that will tie in to the next movies. I guarantee you they're going to pull an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with this next series, right? Whatever this next trilogy is it Rian Johnson's? Is it the Game of Thrones guys? We don't know yet. I'm hoping it's the Game of Thrones guys because I really don't want to see what Rian Johnson comes up with. But there is going to be the big Star Wars Summit here in a couple of days. That is going to be a couple days of Rian Johnson and DB Weiss and David Benioff and Kathleen Kennedy all coming together to talk about where they want to take the next decade of storytelling, which tells me that that's probably going to be the 5 films total, one every 2 years, because Disney's afraid of, I guess you could say, delineating the brand by releasing too many films too close together. And the thing is, if they would just believe in themselves, very similar to DC, if they would just believe in themselves and recognize that they made a mistake, but then rectify and keep going, the audience would immediately reciprocate that. I mean, look at if people sat there in phase 1 and were like, ooh, Thor was, you know what I mean? And like they didn't, and even Captain America and Thor did well, but not as well as they could have, not as well as they did down the road. But then the Avengers was the big one, which then sold it on 2 years later for Captain America Winter Soldier, right? There was a lot there that they built off of that, and they were able to take it and build up, and they trusted in themselves, and they trusted in Feige, and it worked out well. They could do that with Star Wars. It's not a problem. It's really not a problem. But unfortunately, Iger has got cold feet now when it comes to Star Wars theatrically, and that has a lot to do with the online backlash over The Last Jedi. But yet they're still looking at Ryan Johnson like he's going to be the savior, you know, like he's going to be the chosen one to bring prominence to Star Wars. Look, I'm sorry, getting people on Twitter to love you is one thing, but Twitter is only 360 million people, if that. Their numbers are dwindling year after year, and the vast majority of Star Wars fans didn't go and see Solo. I don't know the home video numbers on it. I don't know how well it did in home video, but it's possibly that it did well enough that they're like, well, why don't we focus on this for a while, build up Mandalorian, build up Clone Wars, build up Cassian Andor, build up another show, and then start building up over 2020, 2021, and 2022, and leading those characters into what is going to be the next trilogy. What they should ultimately do is talk to D.B. Weiss and David Benioff and go, can we adapt a show? Can we build a show on Disney Plus that's going to tie into these films? And I think they should do that. I think if they did that right, if they did that well, and there was a cohesive enough universe in between both, we would find ourselves in a situation where Star Wars would be GOAT again. I think that could be done. Not going to be super easy. There's going to be a lot of pushback online from people. But I do ultimately believe it can be done, and I'm hoping that it is. I'm hoping that it is. But anyway, I leave it to you, your thoughts, your opinions. What do you think about this one? Are you down for Avatar being pushed back? Are you down for more Star Wars movies coming in 3 years? Well, 3.5 years, really. And what do you think about New Mutants coming out next year, 2 years after its original release date? Let me know your thoughts, your opinions down in the comments below. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out.